Bonjour.
Bonjour, hot man.
So, this will be a channel mainly on like Avatar to start with. We might branch out later.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to use an alias. I'm Ethan.
Yeah.
I got a brown belt in judo, so my background is really martial arts. How bending applies as martial arts, that's really where I like to look at it. Because I think that's just a beautiful thing that they did with magic. Something I think more series should do with magic. But, you know, don't beat up Kaiden.
It's fine.
At least, like, have a camera for that.
It's true.
1 million subscriber special. We gotta face
We got a camera.
Kaiden.
Put it on World Star.
Go on Twitch, live stream, me beating the shit out of Kaiden.
Somebody clip this. Anyway, well, I'll introduce myself now. I'm Kaiden. Curious about, like, everything that Avatar has to offer, so, like, I'll be doing theories then.
Game theory.
Game theory. No.
Film theory.
Just introduce yourself.
My name is Shepard. I am the local server. I'm also Average Anubis on YouTube. Look me up and watch my Yu-Gi-Oh! Live streams. I'm a loser who likes to do advanced placement humanities classes, so I'm all about world building. I love to look at something and be like, why did that happen? Like, Republic City. What's up with that, man?
True, though. So, like, what this channel will have, there'll be videos like this one, where all three of us will kind of just get together.
And
this is
jerk about Avatar.
completely unscripted.
Whatever.
We just talk. It may be about videos we've done in the past little bit. It may just... We may find new ideas. That's legit what I'm doing right now, is figuring out what the heck I'm going to talk about. But, like, then there might be, you know, me and Shep talk about... I make a cameo in Shep's video where he's talking about why this fire bending did...
Why this happens.
Yeah.
Lightning bending.
Or, like,
Question mark?
in one of Kaiden's theories, talk about, you know, how bending is an art, fills that out. And then there'll be, like, the individual ones where we're not cameoing each other, where we, like, talk about, you know, mine will be why firebending is low-key the best martial art.
Fire is the best.
Very biased.
I
biased.
love the Fire Nation.
Obviously.
I know waterbenders have the most versatility.
Yes.
But, you know...
I'm gonna keep it real with you, Chief. Earthbending.
Earthbending's pretty much everything's better than fire, to be real.
I'm gonna keep it real with you, Chief. Fire can lick my nuts.
Sneak attacks and from any other form of bending.
Also, I can
Anyway, that's a
Waterbenders?
Steals my points.
Also, waterbenders, blood bends. Like, it's
True.
fine.
Anyway.
So, I don't know, what were we gonna say, like...
Let's
Sorry.
talk about today's topic. Airbending. What the f***? Am I right?
What about any
Bending, yeah,
Just
like
bending
bending.
in
Actually,
general.
yeah,
What the hell,
bending.
like-
Let's start general and then we'll close it down. Bending. What the fuck, right?
I don't know, like, who wants to start out with this one?
It's like your chakras and shit.
Your chi.
Your chi.
Your ki. Your
You like draw.
your
Like-
spiritual juice.
Stop saying chi in 500 different ways.
Your soul nut.
Don't say that. No, let's no.
Hey, editor, slap a Momo on there for me.
So it's gonna be soul momo noise.
No, it's just gonna be Momo noises.
Oh, okay. So nobody gets to know, huh? Rude.
Alright, anyway, yeah. Most of, like, bending comes from, like, the cheese in the body. Like,
The nut, if you will.
like fire bending comes from the stomach. I'm not sure where earthbending comes from, though.
Oh, where was Earthbending? That was like base of the spine?
I think so. That's like, I mean, that would make sense because in actual culture, in real life religion with chakras and stuff like that, the root chakra is based sort of in your, like, the root chakra is based in your grundle area and your spine, and that's like the most stable part of you. That's your root self, and it's basically the most stable part of your identity, the part of you that never really changes or develops during your life. And if it's clocked or clouded, you can't be true to yourself and your ideals and your ideas. So I think it would make sense to me personally if the earthbending chakra was represented in the root chakra.
Right.
I'll go back, I'll watch. I may, like, in the description, there will probably be a note saying, yeah, we were right where the earth chakra is. Because
Or
I'll just go back and watch Guru Patik's little episode or little group of episodes.
or it'll say, "Lol, we're stupid. This is what it actually is."
Yeah, so I'll put wherever the heck it actually is on the body.
Mm-hmm.
I think I remember base the spine. I know that's
And it
one
makes
of the
sense.
7, but I
Or-
don't know if that's the right.
Or would it be solar plexus?
No, that's too close to your stomach. Because, like, it makes sense.
That's solar, fire,
That's not what that.
solar
whatever.
plexus.
That's not-
Well,
I might
no,
be
yeah,
getting that wrong.
it's too close to your stomach. Like, it is the
Mhm.
fire chakra. I get where you're coming from. That is your point of balance. But,
Also, there's a of nerves there, bro.
yeah,
It's
I
a
know.
special part of the body,
With absolutely no defense.
which is a little bit nervous.
Cough, cough, slap a fire jab in somebody's solar plexus and end the fight. Just cough, cough.
One
Okay,
tap.
we get it. You're a firebender that loves to murder. Okay.
I would. Yeah. So, like, while we're starting at general bending, one thing I want to say, those lion turtles,
Mm-hmm.
I think Aang actually meets God in the very end of...
Oh yeah, the lion turtle that teaches him energy bending.
Yeah, because, like, all the lion turtles, they do that same move with the one claw on your heart and the other on your brain, like on your forehead, to
Like
give
your
you
brow.
bending. But this one, he's not just giving Aang elemental bending the way all the
Mhm.
other ones are. And they're all very representative of their bending. Like, the fire one, it's hard to represent fire as, like, a constant
But
state.
like he's red,
I don't know.
What?
and like the people that live on his back are very like harsh and like
Yeah.
are very like quick tempered and.
Well, but, like, I mean, even more, though, like, especially when you get to the air turtle,
Mm-hmm.
he's flying. Like, he's floating in the air.
Mm-hmm.
He's not on the ground the way all the other turtles are. He's actually hovering. And I don't think we actually get to see the water turtle very much.
I don't remember
But
the water turtle.
I don't know. I'll go back and check that again, but I'm pretty sure Juan... I know Juan meets him, because he gets
Obviously.
water.
This was
Yeah.
all in Korra, the lion turtle, like, stuff.
Yeah. Avatar 1, great. If you're watching this, you probably watched Korra, but it's, yeah.
Unless you're one of the fans who thinks Korra is stupid.
Fans, we just started this channel.
No, I'm talking about fans of Avatar.
Oh.
I'm not. No, I'm not.
I'm
fans.
Anyway.
Momo noise! Yeah, so, like, but since Aang meets the turtle that teaches him how to give and take bending, I think, you know, we can presume from that, we don't know if all the turtles can do it, so, like, I take from it, Aang might have really met the god of that world. Like, that might be the OG lion turtle.
Would there be, like, 5 lion turtles? Cause, like, or would that just be the water turtle?
Well, no, so, like, there's different kinds of turtles, because, like, that lemur Momo-looking...
Spirit?
Momo-looking...
It's the spirit?
Yeah, the spirit that Juan meets at the Oasis.
Oh,
the
yeah,
Oasis Guardian.
that one.
When Juan's surprised, he's like, "What? There's more lion turtles?"
Mm-hmm.
The guy's like, "Oh God, there's dozens of lion turtles." So, like, I think there's a lot of turtles. I don't think Juan got close to meeting half the turtles.
Right.
But I think they might be subdivided. So, like, Juan lived on a fire turtle. There might be, you know, just a group of turtles that are fire turtles, and a group of turtles that are water, earth.
Mm-hmm.
Shep's looking online right now, looking for that water lion turtle. I don't think he ever meets him.
It's just assumed that they meet because
Yeah.
he has water
Because
bending.
he just gets water. I don't even remember if it was shown. I'll have to look it up.
They show him using water bending.
They don't even... Do
But-
they show him getting it? Like,
No, I don't think they show him getting it.
with the,
His
the
fire
finger
bending he
thing?
gets when he does his little trick, and then
Yeah, and then they let him keep it because the lion turtles are a merciful god.
and he's being like exiled, so they're like, keep it to defend yourself in the spirit world.
Yeah, because they're not like, you know, if they wanted him dead, they're
they would kill him.
they're millions upon millions of tons of literal god. They could kill him if they felt like it. Oh, they do! He does meet them! Because that's... Yeah, okay. Yeah, see? He's in the water. Okay, so we'll try to pull that picture up. But when he meets the water turtle, the water turtle holds its paw out in the water for one to come to him so that he can give him that little smack-a-dabaroo.
And then here's the air lion turtle.
Yeah, and then we'll have the air lion turtle up for you guys to see, because I just realized that they can't see our screen.
I mean, I could just... Hold on.
Whatever. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, no, we'll just get our editor to slap them on.
Slap on that line.
Slap on.
Shout out to Deputy Dark on Twitch.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, little brother, for doing all that editing for me. You're a G.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, we'll
Here's a
send
good
that.
picture.
We'll send that right to him.
Is that Waterman?
That is Water Toidle.
Wait, has he got a name? Build?
No.
I think that just says that.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, I hit the
I
table.
know it was the Avatar wiki.
That's majestic. Okay, anyways, back on topic. Damn, Noah's gonna have a lot of work to do.
See, okay, yeah, so right here, we finally got some dialogue on it, and it says, the water lion turtle just says to what, I trust you. So, like, obviously these, like, they're very benevolent and very powerful.
Oh, yeah. Well, like...
And it's like, okay, so one just appears, and he's like, I need to waterbend so I can do this business, and then he's like, I trust you. So it makes me kind of wonder if they can sort of, like, see the chi.
Yeah. Rhymes!
Is that funny?
Yes.
Isn't that funny?
We're cutting that out, that's cringy. Yeah, no. Well, and, like, even the turtle that Aang meets, he's very wise, he's very
So it makes me wonder,
powerful.
How long do you think lion turtles, like,
Well,
live?
Well, they're
So,
basically
like-
gods.
yeah, so, like, I saw HelloFutureMe made a video.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who watches this who hasn't seen it, check him out. He's great. Love that channel. Does a lot of Avatar, How to Train Your Dragon, all that fun stuff. But he does a video, and it's just titled straight up, Are Lion Turtles Gods?
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. And he points out, it's been a while since I've seen it, so don't quote me on this stuff, but he pretty much, in that, he does say, like, the lion turtles are referred to by Rava as ancient ones.
Mm. Yeah, and it's
So
Rava.
they're older than friggin' Rava.
By a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes you wonder. So, like, okay, so to bring this into real world culture again, because that's my jam.
Yeah.
You look at a lot of Native American creation myths, and you have these themes of turtles that carry the worlds on their backs.
Yeah.
And
Right.
And you already have the fact that that waterbenders straight up Inuit. Like, you cannot. It's straight up
Yeah.
Inuit and Ainu from Japan. Like, that's straight up just how that happens.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes me wonder, do you think maybe that since these are ancient ones and they exist before the spirits of good and evil themselves,
Yeah.
do you think maybe these lion turtles are like, they're gods, maybe they are like the gods, like they created the Avatar world with their bending
Yeah,
abilities,
well, like,
I guess.
If you
I
think
think-
to alchemy though, because like to make the Philosopher's Stone, didn't you need like all the elements?
Yeah, so
Right?
to make a philosopher's stone, if I remember, like, classical European alchemy, you go through stages, which, fun fact for anybody who actually watches Overlord, his head servant Albedo, she's named after the second stage. So you do Negredo, which is you take your material, break it down to its basic existence, Albedo, your purification, and then Philosopher's Stone, a basic primordial existence.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like, with the lion turtles, they're ancient enough, and they seem, like, really unaffected by Rava and Vatu.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when Rava and Vatu get separated, and Vatu's out making all the spirits go bad,
Mm-hmm.
the lion turtles could stop them. Like,
Mhm.
especially in the air one,
Mm-hmm.
the lion turtles allow the spirits on their backs because the people interact positively with the spirits.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly a later topic for the beautiful, beautiful harmonist culture that is the air nomads.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, that lion turtle, if he's that powerful to give and take bending away, and, to fly perpetually without tiring, he could have dealt with those spirits on his own. He probably could have murked Vaatu.
Probably.
But they don't really seem to care.
I think it's less that they don't care and more so that they know that it isn't their affair to get involved in. Like, if we look at them like they're these gods that have created this world and, like, they watch over and create bending and stuff like that, it makes me wonder, so maybe they know they created these people and they're like, well,
maybe they'll deal with it.
Not my circus, not my monkeys.
Yeah.
It's like when your kid falls down and they're like start crying. It's like, you gotta deal with this on your own, bud.
Okay.
You skinned your knee maybe a little bit. You're fine. You can't just baby them, or else they'll never like mature.
They'll never deal with.
They'll never deal with problems on their own if you always come in and save them and baby them and take care of them.
Yeah.
So has it been established that like are lion turtles spirits or are they just gods?
That's one of the things. They're not really like defined.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They just exist.
But the fact that the spirits always have this sense of superiority. They have a superiority complex over humans.
Mm-hmm.
But they, if I'm not mistaken, please don't be too mean to me in the comments if I am.
Be mean to him in the comments.
Don't be mean to him in the comments. Don't be mean to us.
But, like, if I'm not mistaken, first of all, I know they have a superiority complex with the humans.
Yeah.
They cannot accept that Juan was able to do things that they couldn't because of firebending. It messed up their entire psyche.
And
I
like
remember that.
when you look at a spirit and you're like, do they have a spirit? You can look at it immediately, like with the Oasis Guardian spirit.
Yeah.
He possesses that man, completely disfigures him, and then when he runs away screaming, the spirit's like, I think it's an improvement. And it's like,
Yeah.
my
But,
man.
like, and then I think they talk about how things were before you human monkeys started running around.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
That
that
sounds like
shows
something he would
the
talk about.
spirits are older
Than people.
than the people. The
Yes.
spirits came first, and they're calling the lion turtles ancient one.
Mm-hmm. And
So
then,
that hints to me that they're older, because I think the spirits are like...
see, the way I think it looks at it, it's like, so it doesn't really, I think, because, like, yeah, you have all the spirits referring to the lion turtles as the ancient ones and talk about how powerful they are, and then you have Rava, who is, like, the ancient ones, and it's like, good and evil are concepts that exist forever. Like, they don't start existing and they don't stop existing, they just exist. So when you have the very embodiment of, like, light, good, whatever, the counterpart to evil and stuff like that, which is something I'm not really pleased about that Korra introduced, but that's a topic for a different day. Referring to a subset or, like, a group of creatures as ancient, that just says to me, okay, these lion turtles are insanely old and insanely powerful. So to me, I think it doesn't really matter if they're spirits or gods. They're just the OGs of this universe that exists.
Well, and, like, quick thing, just... Avatar is very based on Eastern religious belief.
Mm-hmm.
And just a quick thing, because fantasy and mythology and magic is my second love right after martial arts. The Japanese are the best example I have. Akami, so like Amaterasu, Susanoo, they're gods.
Mm-hmm.
They aren't actually gods.
They're just
They're
divine spirits.
yeah,
Very
and
powerful,
yes,
and revered,
yes.
and like whatever. But
Yeah.
But like so like
but then you
Eastern
have,
Eastern
okay.
Eastern philosophy, they don't think of gods the way Western philosophy does. Like earlier, I know I was actually starting to think in a very Greco-Roman sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like the lion turtles want to defend their kids,
Mm-hmm.
the way Prometheus wanted to defend man from Zeus's wrath,
Mm-hmm.
and then
So
so
that
like that's
happened.
I started thinking like that, but that's not how they think, because like I see you've got the Japanese creation myth up.
I was just
like,
going to say it's can I just say
Yeah, yeah,
it's just with all the kami and like all like creation myths and things like that and all the different spirits that you have in like for me Japan is the one that I know the most about as well.
Yeah.
It's probably the most mainstream.
True.
You have all of these kamis like Amaterasu and
Yeah.
Susanoo and like all those different and
Well, she's known in the pronunciation now.
and all of those people, all of
It's
those
two O's
kamis.
actually. Susanoo O.
Susanoo, it's an extended O.
Guys, just keep talking.
Anyway, but then you also have Izanami and Izanagi, which are the creation gods, and they created the islands of Japan. They created the world, and they're kind of
Izanami is like the goddess of death, right? or like undead or some shit like that.
That's a funky thing that gets a little later in the myth.
Well,
We'll get to
we're
that.
focusing
later.
on we're focusing on their initial roles right now. With Izanami and Izanagi, they created everything, and then because of that, they're sort of seen as not so much like above, but more like powerful. I don't know, because like with the kami like Amaterasu and everyone else like that. They're products of the natural world because they're like the sun or the moon or the harvest or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? They're products of the natural world, but Izanagi and Izanami exist outside of the natural world, which I think is a really important distinction to make with the lion turtles.
Actually, that feeds into something really nice. So, the image of a divine being in Japanese mythology, of your kami, oftentimes the kami descended of Izanagi and Izanami, which is an array of gods relating to the sun, different phases of the moon, different phases of the friggin' sun.
Right.
The sky itself, the harvest, the wheat, the rice, the water. It's,
But actually, the sky itself, this is where it gets interesting. There are primordial gods who came before who came before Izanagi and Izanami and sent them to create Japan out of the nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's actually, it works really well with the lion turtles, because if you think of your average spirit, so lemur-looking man, think of him as like a guardian forest spirit, and the lion turtles are these primordial gods that come before. So one of my favorite examples is, what is her name? Shinatobe, the wind kami. She is significantly weaker than I don't know if I got her name right, but
it's another name for her. Her original name apparently is Shinatsuhiko, but Shinatobe, easier to say.
So Shinatobe, probably the westernized version, she's a wind goddess and she's very powerful, but there's this primordial wind god, and he doesn't look human. He's got like human proportions and muscles and stuff.
Oh yeah, Fujin.
Okay, and he's got an Oni's face and like.
Because I think the distinction that has it there, sorry to interrupt you, again, is that you have these humanizations of it with that goddess we were talking about and things like that, and then you have the raw forces because I'm not gonna lie, I'm on Wikipedia right now. I could go on a website that has more in depth and has like the fancy Japanese art and style backgrounds. But it all sources to the same place anyways, so it's fine for now. You have Shinatobe, and she is referenced to as a god of the wind. And the wind, so she is a goddess of the wind. She represents the wind. She has the wind. She's influenced by the wind. And when something bad happens with the wind, people are like, Shinatobe is displeased. But then you go and you look at the wind itself, and that's Fujin. And that's that's like an elder Shinto god, and he is the wind. With the goddess, it's like you have something happens with the wind and she's of the wind, and then you have this who is the wind. It's essence. It's a small distinction, but it's very important.
Yeah. So like what I was gonna say is like, so you think of your regular spirits, forest defender lemur man.
I just looked it up. His name's like I or something.
It's
Yeah.
Nice. He looks like an I actually. Anyways, sorry. Ai is like Shinatobe. He's powerful. He's a great spirit, but the lion turtles are like Fujin. They are the force, you know, like.
Yeah.
So they're the powerful one. They're the ancient, the primordial.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that might be. So like, that also probably. I'm guessing they're immortal. Seeing as lion turtles are still around when Aang's around and show absolutely no signs of interacting with each other.
I was looking stuff up though, and it said apparently, according to a couple things I've seen, that's the last lion turtle. I don't know where they got that from, but
they might have gone back to the spirit world and harmonic convergence though.
True. If I was a lion turtle and I was like big champ chilling and I was watching my kids fuck up all this shit, I'd be like, you know what, Daddy needs a vacation. I'll see you guys later.
I'm like, life would be so boring as a lion turtle, to be real. But yeah, Kaiden's right. Harmonic convergence, you know more about that. You guys know more about that. Fun fact, I haven't finished Korra.
Yeah.
Finished Korra.
I'm on that. I'm on that right now. I'm watching Guru Patik, and then I'm watching Korra. Guru Patik just so I can get the chakras. But yeah, so like, in harmonic convergence, when all the spirits are going home and one, like, saved the world, became the first Avatar. First of all, that had to be a long ass time ago because people forgot that they were the first benders.
Right.
Because the dragons can breathe fire, but if you look at dragons, they aren't firebenders.
Yeah.
Like, Appa can fly, like, he can use that advanced airbending skill, and he can shoot gusts of wind that, yes, his platypus tail helps, but his platypus tail can't cause the gusts he does, so he's bending, but he's not bending,
I think this...
I hate to say intelligently.
Well, I mean, he's an animal.
It's a crude form of
I think the
airbending.
distinction there is that maybe they're the animals of their nations. Yeah. I think they definitely have that ability, that spiritual ability, but so much of maybe just for those few specific things, or I mean, a lot of bending is training.
Yeah,
you look at Katara in episode 1, and she can do a lot. She splits that whole ice flow, right?
Yeah,
she can do a lot, but she can't actually
control.
She can move water, but she can't actually
she doesn't
do
have
anything.
any technique.
She's just woof, right?
Yeah.
And she
Well,
tries
it's
to freeze. She tries to freeze that water, and she has to go backwards.
Well, real quick, martial arts guy, loving it. I'm a brown belt. I've lost in a sparring match to a yellow belt once. He was a cop, and he was training damn hard. And he showed up to our club. He hadn't been there for flippin' ever. He remembered the basics. I went a little too easy. I left myself a little too open. And the key is, Katara is in her chi, she's strong. Our martial arts are physical, meaning we don't get the chi strong aspect, but he was just physically overpowering, so it's a lot like with Katara. He kind of just body checked me and hoped for the best, the way Katara...
Just...
Well, like, there was that one scene in The Water Tribe where she was dealing with a firebender, where she turned around and shot her hand back the way she had with that ice float to try to replicate the effect. So she was kind of like, maybe this will work, and like praying that the water bending worked.
Right.
And you see that, like, street fighters do it all the time. They see an idea of how something should work. Real quick, before I get told in the comments, bending's magic, it's not that easy. You're right, it's magic. It isn't that easy.
It's not. I don't think it's magic.
Well,
I think it's
magic.
I think it's magic, but it's like they explain it differently. But
it's magic.
I'm pretty sure they established it wasn't magic.
Well, yeah.
In universe, it definitely isn't magic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's just natural.
And like
Part of things.
Marvel Thor quote right now, and I'm gonna get the quote wrong. Don't kill me in the comments for this either, please.
I mean, I could look it up.
You probably could. Magic. Any science that is sufficiently advanced will be considered magic to those who do not understand it.
Right.
That's essentially the principle. And I think bending's a lot like that. If you don't understand the in-depth what's going on, because to Sokka, she's moving water without splashing it, without touching it. She's moving water that she's not even in contact with.
Yeah.
Also, you said Thor, but
They took it from Arthur C. Clarke. I know.
Arthur C. Clarke. Magic's just science that we don't understand yet.
Yeah. They had it, like, really, like, smart man developed. I don't know.
Yeah.
In Thor. I just remember it because it's great. Because
it's a good quote. Because
that's a world building thing for Marvel, and we're not going to get into that too deep, but
yeah.
I love it. But anyways, so, like, I think benders, you know, they have this... They can be good. They can be naturally good at things. And it is training, but at the same time, like, Tui and La pushing and pulling the water, that's not... You might call it bending in the universe because I guess the moon and the ocean are pushing and pulling the water. But that doesn't train you to fire a twister, to freeze an icicle. I think it gave people the idea of pushing and pulling and pushing and pulling and pushing until eventually they realize that they're making bigger waves. So, like, the dragons, the way that they release the fire, they internalize the breath and release, the way Iroh tells Zuko, I think.
Your fire, it's in the first episode where he's doing the basics, and he's like, and Zuko's like, I'm good at the basics, I know how to do the basics, and Iroh's like, I will not teach you the next level because firebending is in the breath. You need to do it more. Like, I can't. And he says some like Iroh bullshit about how you can't build a tower on bad foundation or something.
Iroh's my favorite character.
Same. Iroh is the best.
Actually, Ty Lee's my favorite, but that's waifu material right there.
We're not talking about waifu material on this channel.
Momo noise. Cut that out, Noah. Just cut it out.
It's bad.
Anyway, yeah, but like, so I think they saw, the dragons breathe and they release their flame, and I think that's the inspiration. You release your flame. Appa, like the flying bison and the badger moles, are way more directly able to teach somebody to bend. Like Toph straight up learned from them, and I can see how, because in the scene you see the badger moles like stomp and then slide to move rocks, like to move the earth.
Yeah.
So I could see how she learns that from the badger mole. Don't ask me how the hell they learned anything from Appa.
Okay, well, I think
like
they saw him flying, and I was gonna say with like the waterbenders, it's like I just want to say really quick.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to look at how each of the animals that were the first benders, even though it was actually the lion turtles that were the first benders, but whatever.
Lion turtles are gods.
Anyways, the first mortal benders.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very interesting to look at how they control their element and how that influences the society and culture of those nations. Like, you look at waterbenders. Waterbenders are very fluid. Very fluid, very mobile, very adaptive, and they move around, which kind of comes from the fact that they learned how to waterbend from watching the water move back and forth. So they're moving it, pushing and pulling and pushing and pulling, and that kind of builds up this like you're like gradually building up your power before you can pick it up and like move it around, and like you have to have rhythm in your movements to waterbend. And then you look at firebending, where the dragons inhale and release this jet of destructive flame, but also very controlled. And then firebenders looked at that and they were like,
Yeah.
So that's why they have like those striking movements with the breath and the dramatic posing.
Because
and then
in like Avatar 1's like whole episodes, they're more or less just like shooting it like a flamethrower instead of it being condensed fireballs.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and that's a big thing for me is like when that general comes back and he's so scared, and the people ask like, what's wrong? What's wrong? He says he uses it like it's an extension of himself. He doesn't treat fire
like a weapon or like
when they finally stopped treating bending like magic and started treating it like an extension of who they were.
Yeah.
Benders became significantly more powerful.
Like, I think the distinction there is that when the lion turtles were granted and they would go into the spirit wilds and whatever, it was a tool. It was like picking up a little knife and being like, stab, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe that's why the animals don't use it as I mean, they're animals, so obviously they kind of can't. But also because to an animal, any ability that they have is just a tool.
Yeah.
Like, to the dragons, fire is just a tool to fight and defend themselves.
Yeah.
To the flying bison, their airbending is just a tool to defend themselves and get around. The moon and the ocean, they don't need anything.
There's not really
they don't need
an
anything.
established animal.
Well, then I think
They just have the spirits of the ocean and the moon.
yeah.
Which
Just
is,
into your lore stuff here, a bit quick, Shepard. I really like it because this is the kind of post-justification that people do. So, like, the Poles, the Ukrainians, and the Russians have a story that explains why they're separate, why they don't like each other, and why the Slavic people are divided and why they fight. What actually probably happened historically, anybody who is of Slavic descent, I respect your culture, I respect all culture, but from a pure objective historical standpoint, what probably happened is that the Slavs as a people pre-divided themselves into tribes because Europe is freaking tiny.
Big fact.
There's a reason they needed to expand in the industrial era, but what probably happened is the Slavs spread, created distinct tribes, because again, any Poles, Ukrainians, or Russians, I don't think you're all the same. You're Slavs, I get that. You're not all the same, and I know that too. So what they did is they all made a post-justification. They all justified afterwards that the Slavs were a people who then divided. And for all we know, the Slavs as a tribe came from Africa or the Middle East, to the greener pastures that were Europe, like Eastern Europe, decided, okay, there's not enough for all of us, and they split into the 3 groups that we now know.
Right.
And I think that's how the Benders do it, is, like, how did the dragons really teach fire jabs and, like, Iroh's fire breathing technique? That's pure dragon.
Also,
That I
I'm in
get.
school. I have to watch it right now.
Okay. That's pure dragon. I get that one. But, so, like, but then Tui and La, they can't really teach you anything but the basic push and pull. So I think that's post-justification. They have bending, and the story.
The
was
breath
forgotten.
becomes energy in the
So
body.
they asked
The
themselves,
energy extends.
why do we have the bending? And then they decided it was Tui and La and all that fun. But yeah, like, so I think it's really cool. I think it's post-justification. And I think you can definitely learn principles because animals are so basic in their movements that you figure things out because, well, if the badger moles are always doing this, it's got to be pretty bloody important.
Right.
And badger moles might be a very smart animal, but badger moles ain't building Oma shoes.
Also, when you talk about how these, like, you look at the animals, that's like when people from Europe, so like the English and the French, were first coming into North America, they would communicate with, and this is for Canada because we're all Canadians, so I know most about Canadian affairs.
Mooses and maple syrup, eh?
Anyways,
Bags of milk.
no. Anyways, that gave me the plague. Anyways, when they first came into Eastern Canada, into places like Quebec, where there's lots of maple trees, they would talk to these people and realize that they had like, this very sweet syrup, maple syrup, and they'd be like, wow, this is delicious. How do you get this? And the natives would just respond, the squirrels taught us how, because squirrels and birds, but squirrels would dig into the bark of the tree and make the sap come out, and that was maple syrup.
And that's probably where the Iroquois found it out.
Exactly. They watched the squirrels and they were like, these squirrels are always gnawing on these trees. That's weird. Why would they do that? So they watched, and then the sap started to come out, and they were like, nani? And then they got it, and then they tasted it, and they were like, this is delicious. And that's how maple syrup happened. Anyways, the colonizers were like, well, that's fucking dumb. Why would a squirrel know how to get maple syrup? So, like, forever, white people didn't know how to get maple syrup because they just
Cultural insensitivity.
They just didn't listen to the natives. They were like, lol, natives, squirrels? That's stupid. And then, yeah.
Gotta love cultural insensitivity. Comment section be nice.
I'm just saying it how it is. The white people that came into Canada however many years ago, 150 years ago, fucking stupid.
150 years, bro.
Fucking stupid.
500 years?
150?
Yeah, try 500. We was a colony for a couple hundred years first there, bud.
Big time.
Anyways,
They're stupid.
So, yeah, post-justification is such a central part of the Benders and their cultures, too. Because, like, animals are revered in their cultures for being Benders.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why do we revere a buffalo for being able to flap a tail and shoot damn good air? Because we need a reason that some of us can bend and some of us can't.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that some of us can't means that we haven't been bending since the beginning of time.
Mm-hmm.
So why can some of us do it and some of us can't do it?
Mm-hmm.
And in a future all 3 of us together video, I think we should talk about bending and how it is genetically affected, because that is
such a can of worms.
That is going to be great. It's going to be amazing.
And it's like, it makes me wonder how much of bending is genetic, how much of it is spiritual, and how much of it is just, it just happens.
Yeah.
Like, do you think if you pray enough, you'll just be able to start waterbending?
Okay,
Who knows?
We'll talk about that.
You probably have to
later
open
video.
like your chakras or something.
Gotta be
Something
like-
that.
No, but Patik is a non-bender. We're getting off topic. We'll talk about that in a later video, because I don't want to ruin such a beautiful topic for a new video.
Right.
But, anyways, yeah. So, like, I think we could probably leave it on the post-justification and how the lion turtles gave people bending.
Mm.
And that's... Don't listen to the Last Airbender, kids. The lion turtles gave you bending.
Yes.
Not
Okay, so then,
Tui and La. The moon ain't teaching nobody nothing.
But then you get like those primordial techniques from that. So
Yeah,
you have,
yeah.
so they're like, here, now you can control water. And some fucko in the North Pole is like, cool. What the fuck do I do with this? So they're like, so the oceans just move and they're like, oh, I can feel this.
Yeah.
I'm jamming. So that's how you get like the primordial techniques, because all waterbending, focusing on waterbending, because I like waterbending.
And waterbending is just it's great.
Very reliable.
I like
Yeah.
firebending most. It's my personal favorite. Waterbending, straight up, probably the best bending style.
And it's so easy. It's so easy to talk about because it's
Because the
there's so
creators
much.
love it so much.
There's just so much waterbender lore because fucking Katara and Sokka in Last Airbender, and then fucking Korra in Legend of Korra
Well, and Aang.
focuses so much time on waterbending. Like there's just
This
a lot
is
of
first- this is the
there's
first-
just a lot of
Yeah.
waterbending lore because you have two people learning waterbending in Last
R.I.P.
Airbender,
Fire Nation.
and then you have Korra waterbender avatar, right?
Yeah.
So it's very reliable to talk about. Anyways, I think I do definitely agree with the whole Twee and Law teaching the techniques.
Yeah.
Because you get that back and forth. Because with waterbending, you see, because water isn't something that they can just create. Like how with Earth, it's everywhere, so you don't have to worry about keeping the piece that you have.
Yeah.
And with fire, you're just whatever. You always see
Keep it from going out.
the water. You always see it goes, and then they have to pull it back. Like
Yeah.
you're always every single move in waterbending
Well,
always has. I mean, unless you turn it to
Yeah,
ice and
yeah.
it breaks. Whatever. For the most part,
no, I get
if
you, I
it
get you.
works, you're always making that current with
Well,
your
then-
body and the water.
Watching Paku and Katara fight was just okay. Judo uses your opponent's momentum against them,
Mhm.
and when you watch two people who are really good traditional fighters, modern sport fighters are quicker and snappier, so it's not as much. But when
It's
I watch,
kind of like pro bending.
yeah, talk about there's video on that coming too. But like when I watch two of my senseis fight in the more traditional style, it was this beautiful back and forth of trying to get the other to make a mistake, and I know it's not based on judo, but waterbending has a very similar back and forth to it.
Yeah, well, like the kinetic energy.
Well, and
Of
yeah,
it.
and like my favorite just thing that they put in anytime Aang was sad because he liked seeing Katara in a bikini. Him and Katara would go waterbending just to practice, but you'd see like they'd take a little bit of water and they'd just pass it back and forth in this beautiful little circle. And I think that catches what waterbending is so perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't get to see very many benders fight their own element, which would be so cool. Because you have to think of the game so differently. Agni Kai, like in an Agni Kai, your fires can cancel each other out,
Right.
whereas your fire responds to water and rocks differently than it does other fire or wind, you know? But, yeah, so like from purely a martial arts standpoint, they're also, that back and forth is a very fluid, it makes them nice. It makes them so nice. But anyways, my last little point I was going to say, just going with your Twee and Law teaching the basic back and forth, is that this is going back to judo. God, I'm going back to judo a lot all of a sudden.
It's okay.
So, judo is based on traditional Japanese jiu-jitsu, not Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Don't confuse them. Japanese jiu-jitsu is a lot worse. But essentially what happened is he took the basic techniques and then he started changing them up and making them different, making them better, improving, modifying, toying. And I think that's what the benders did. They saw the basics of what everybody was up to, and that's kind of what they did. They saw the basics, especially the earthbenders.
Mm-hmm.
They watched what the badger moles were up to, and they started doing it, and then they're like, well, my body stands up straight, so what if I did this? And then all of a sudden, a friggin' boulder flies across
Exactly.
Yeah, and they're like, okay.
the...
Thinking emoji.
But anyways, so I think we'll leave off there for this video, because
We talked for a good while.
Little man's got a lot of editing to do.
Yeah.
Let's
But
end it there. Or something.
Okay, so just to wrap up, I think that was a good conversation about
yeah.
bending.
That was
If-
very good.
If there's a specific topic you guys want us to have a conversation
Yeah,
about,
like if you see this video and you think that we could have a lot to say about something specific, like all three of us or just one of us, put it in the comments.
well, and also, if you're looking for any lore videos, Shep might have some of those coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Any theories, Kaiden might have those coming up. I know I've already got several ideas for martial arts videos on bending,
Mm-hmm.
just because it's my life and it's sad. But, yeah, so, and if you ever I wonder what they think about Ko the Face Stealer, or...
Oh,
They
please.
need to do more on that.
Please ask me about Ko the Face Stealer. Woo!
Ko is so
Future lore
interesting.
video.
Ooh.
Apparently, I just
Actually,
raised a future
you know what?
video.
Don't even ask me about it. It's coming. Ooh,
But if
face stealing in Japanese mythology. Yeet.
Oh,
Dab. Ooh, I'm excited about to talk about this.
So, if you guys ever see anything, you're like, Patik. You want to talk about Patik and how he has all 7 chakras
That can't be in there.
completely ready, yet for some reason he still can't bend. We're thinking of talking about it.
That would be neat.
And if you guys ever have any ideas, slap them down in the comments,
Or
and we'll,
message us. Whatever.
yeah. And
Honestly,
we'll talk about them.
Honestly, my Discord is the same as my solo YouTube channel. DM me on Discord. I don't care.
Links in the description there.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah. And, yeah, so, feel free to come to us with topics. If you have theories you want to talk about, lore you want to talk about.
Mm-hmm. We're just open to
If you ever,
talking to you guys.
if you ever think, what about this fringe martial art?
Yeah. That'd be
I may do which bending style it would work best for.
right.
Mhm.
Spoiler alert, a lot of our martial arts aren't great. Some of them are really, really good. A lot of them aren't great. But anyways, so have a great day. Hope
Yeah.
you guys enjoyed the video. If you stayed till the end,
Thank
God
you so
bless your
much.
soul.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're just trying to get this...
We just want to get this off the ground because Avatar is something that we all really like, and we know a lot of other
Exactly.
people really like it, and we have lots of thoughts about it.
I've actually been surprised the amount of times I've just in my random nerdy moments mentioned Avatar and
It's
had
just-
somebody
it's
in
such
my
a
class.
It's such a good show.
Well, and had somebody in
It's
my
so
class be
good.
like, "Oh yeah, that's so good," and I'm like,
Mhm.
"I never thought anybody liked this show but me."
It's so
So
good.
good.
Yeah. So
Jinx.
So yeah,
yeah.
have a great day. Thanks for
Thank
watching.
you for coming out.
Please subscribe if you
Yeah.
want.
Like
Because-
and subscribe for good
Like and
content.
subscribe, and if you have any suggestions,
hit that notification bell, bro.
and if there's
If you
anything that you guys
If you
don't
want.
like that we're doing,
Tell us
yeah.
because this is our first time foraying into the world of YouTube outside of me live streaming. So
yeah,
I don't know what works and what doesn't.
I'm
Yeah.
okay with constructive criticism.
No
We
flames in
all-
the
we
comments,
all are.
please.
No, you can flame us. Just make it.
Flame
just
me
make
out, hot
sure it
man.
ain't like. Oh! Make
If
sure
you
it
made
ain't
it
like.
to the end of the video, comment "Flame me out, hot man," and we'll like it. We'll heart
We'll
it.
like it.
We'll favorite it.
We'll favorite your comments.
We'll pin all of it.
We'll pin every. If you made it to the end of the video, comment "Flame me out, hot man," and we'll like it.
All right. Well, have a great day.
Yeah.
See you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
I love you.
Shut up.
Goodbye.